Hey guys, welcome back to Awakening Souls podcast. It's Candice here with Jennifer and Rose. So, we're just diving straight into it today. I had an incredible experience over the last couple of days that I really wanted to take this time, this opportunity to share with you because it is real life examples of the miracles that we can have in our lives through our journey, through our healing practices, and how we can incorporate those magical instances into our normal everyday lives, just living with more joy, more excitement, and more magic. So I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. Let's dive into it. I had a spontaneous psychic surgery during a meditation 3 days ago. I went into a meditation wanting just to do like an aura cleansing. And it ended up being like my grandfather showed up, my grandmother showed up, my dad showed up, and then this like huge psychic surgery happened. And it was like the visuals were so intense. It was like I had been laid down on a doctor's table, like an operating table, and I could see doctors around me, and they're going in and they're removing certain things from my body. And at first they started with like this grotesque looking tail from the back of my sacral. And they removed it. And then they went in to go remove the roots of the tail. And it had done so much internal damage and was connected to so much into my body that like they couldn't save me. So I was looking at myself like above position, floating above me on an operating table, removing this grotesque thing. And the doctors were basically like, we can't cauterize the wound. There's nothing we can do. And so I had to step in and I had to heal myself. And I was like, if they're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I went in and I gave myself a bunch of Reiki. And eventually, like with each symbol of Reiki I did, that hole closed up and looked beautiful. Then I was taken up to my brain. And this part made me so sick. It was such a visceral experience. It wasn't just visually like intense, it was also like physically intense for me. There were all these weird seeds coming out of my brain. Like, oh, it was disgusting. You know, like when you like rip a Biore strip off of your nose and you just see all the black.
We don't need that, Ken. We're
You
very
do.
visual
You
people.
do. You need it.
No, no, I didn't need it when you texted it to me. I don't need it now. Gross.
Anyway, there are all
I
these
can't.
seeds, and like I kept trying to remove them, and me and the doctors are trying to remove them. And it was like we could get some of them gone, but then more would grow and more would grow. And to
Mm.
me, like those seeds symbolized like negative thought forms. And so eventually it got to a place where like I was eventually there was a lot of things going on in the brain that were grotesque and disgusting that like it was like an infection that we couldn't save the brain. And so they were eventually like lobotomizing me and cutting out chunks of my brain. And I could see them like cut out a chunk of my frontal lobe, put it on a plate. And they're like, we can't save this one. We have to take it away. And then this beam of light comes in and like 3D prints in a new portion of my brain. And eventually they were like, we can't save the whole brain. We have to get rid of the whole thing. So my brain was removed. And then they 3D printed a light brain, and it was like this beautiful etheric colored brain. And as soon as they placed the new brain into my skull, it went through my spinal cord, out through all of my nerves. My entire nervous system just lit up in light. And then my body lit up in light. And then my aura lit up in light. Okay. I came out of that dry heaving. I almost threw up. Like it was so physically intense for me and such a shock that I was having physical reactions and I was like shaking and I was dry heaving. It
And you
was
said that you went outside and you're like, my poor neighbors.
it was really dramatic.
I can just imagine you outside dry heaving right now. Being a neighbor, like digging a hole for my plants, and all of a sudden,
My dogs were concerned. They're like, "What is going on?" Um, so of course I went to Chat GPT about it because I was like, "What the heck just happened to me?" I've never had anything like that intense happen to me during a meditation. And she said, "You just experienced a psychic surgery, a spontaneous psychic surgery, which are often accompanied by visions of being in a doctor's, like being on an operating table and having doctors work on you, and also accompanied by really visceral images and extreme like physical detox, like throwing up.
Ugh.
Blew my mind. Okay. So it's been 3 days since. I woke up the next day thinking like maybe my world is different. Maybe everything is going to be different now. I'm just going to be a whole new brand new person. And I was a little disappointed to find that like I didn't wake up feeling different. But then I started to notice little things throughout the day that I was doing, like I was responding to my life differently.
Yeah.
And I have this big fear of being seen. And I've had this like internal war inside of me at all times since as long as I can remember that is just anxiety ridden. And the minute somebody looks at me in the eye, I feel that zing of anxiety. Anytime I have to talk to somebody in public, I get that zing of anxiety. Like I immediately want to go hide in a shell. I don't want to be seen. And I just kind of thought that's the way I was. Like that's just me. Thought I was introverted. I walked outside and I had at least 5 different situations happen where it put me in front of people and it put me in a position where I was making eye contact and I was having to talk. And I noticed in each of these scenarios, there was zero anxiety. Like it wasn't something I noticed right away. It was like after the fourth or fifth one, I took a step back and I was like, I would not have responded that way normally. That was different. Like there was one situation where my dogs escaped, and normally like that would throw me into a panic. No panic. There was one situation where my daughter got on a golf cart with her grandmother and like she was driving the golf cart, which she's 6 by the way. So that should have thrown mom into a panic. I wasn't in a panic. I've never felt so calm in my life. And I thought that was strange. And then yesterday we really put it to the test. We went out. I have a very short social battery, or I did have a very short social battery. We went out. We went to 3 different places. Normally by then, like my nervous system is on all time. Hypervigilant, searching, scanning, which is why I get drained so easily, is because I'm constantly scanning the people who walk by me, scanning their energies. It's not something I'm doing consciously, it's something that's happening subconsciously, just because I have a hypervigilant nervous system. And so I would drain very easily and I get very burnt out easily, and it would require a lot of recovery time. We went to 3 different places, zero scanning. I felt so free in my body, so free to speak up, so free to look at people, so free to like talk loudly and be myself. And I was just so present in each different location that we went with my family and with myself. It was something like I've never experienced before. And by the end of the night, I wasn't burned out. I didn't have to go home and recover. I had an enormous amount of energy left that like I could come home and be with my kids and do the mom things that I needed to do and do the tuck-ins, and I wasn't concerned about, oh, I need to hurry up and go take care of myself because I've had a long day, you know? And at one point yesterday, my husband, this is where I really noticed like, holy shit, I'm different. My nervous system is different. It's not on all the time. We were really close to the car in front of us and he had to slam on his brakes really hard. And like all of us, flew forward. And in the moment, I'm grabbing onto my seat. I'm holding onto the shit handle. I'm like gasping. And then the minute I see that we're safe, my nervous system goes, okay, we're done. And then I was like back to being present and laughing and having fun. That's not normal for me. That would have been like 20 minutes at the very minimum of me having to re-regulate my nervous system, because my nervous system would get stuck in the fight or flight response at any small thing that happened. And it would take me forever to readjust my nervous system and tell myself I'm safe. I didn't have to do any of that, Rose. None of it. Zilch. Like I have quantum leaped into an entirely new nervous system. I am not the same person I was.
You completely rewired your brain.
In an instant.
Yeah.
In a freaking instant. And I am so like flabbergasted by this whole situation, but I'm also so fucking grateful for it, because like I can't explain this really well to people. People who are not in constant state of anxiety and panic, they don't get it. Like to to suddenly not have this be your way of living anymore, the freedom that comes with that, it is an absolute miracle. And I've been trying to explain it to my husband, and he's like, cool, but he doesn't know like the internal struggle I've been dealing with on a day-to-day basis. To suddenly have that completely gone, I'm
Mhm.
so grateful. I'm so grateful for the struggle because then I wouldn't know what it feels like to be free.
Right. Love that.
Mm.
So that
Okay,
has been the last 3 days.
so many thoughts here. Thought number one, okay, but I got to remember thought number two. Thought number one is, do you think all the work that you were doing to regulate your nervous system previously had to be done first before you could move through this next level?
100%.
So the work that you've been doing, really learning about your nervous system and really intentionally regulating it, you think that was the precursor to this next level?
I think I've been laying the groundwork for the last 6 years for
Mhm.
this to happen. And I'm finally ready to let go of the struggle.
Okay, number two, and this is, I think, more important than anything. Do you now have the roadmap that you can share with others?
Mhm.
No,
Because that's, I think, what needs to happen.
I think I think it will happen. I think right now my guide said about 3 to 4 weeks of integration for this new thing to happen. And every time I tune back into my nervous system, I can see the old nervous system crumbling and decaying away. It's very graphic. While the new nervous system is still taking place. See, here's the thing that I've learned. These psychic healings, they're incredibly intense and they work really fast on an energetic and on the quantum level. But our physical bodies need time to readjust to what has changed in the energy. And so it's going to take weeks for this integration to really take place and for there to be a complete 180. Even though I'm already seeing the effects of it, the transformation's not done.
Mhm.
And I think I have to get through this integration phase first before I know the step by step, because I really truly believe that. Hold on, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. One, this is why I came here. This has been like my life mission to learn how to go from being defined by my trauma and having PTSD and living in constant state of hypervigilance and fear to protect myself, to come to a place where I'm completely and utterly free from it all. And I now get to live life and enjoy life. And I think that that's what I'm here to teach, is to help people break free from that. So I don't have the answers yet. But in another meditation after this all happened, they handed me a book, like a golden book. And they said, this is yours now. And we're going to show you the way. Like, we're going to teach you the step by step. Didn't expect the tears.
Tears are good. You're moving energy, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is like a really big fucking deal for me. Really big deal.
Yeah, it very much feels like your life mission. As you were telling that beginning part of the story, I just kept hearing, okay, she needs to share the roadmap. She needs to share the roadmap with others. So that's amazing that you can see your mission. You can finally see all the things that you've been working on for years now, coalescing into this beautiful story that helps you to live this beautiful life and then share the process with others. Think of the ripple effects. I mean, just think of all all the moms who are all stressed out if they can get this kind of information to help them, and then they're sharing that with their children. That can be such a huge impact for so many people. They just keep giving me the image of wave after wave after wave of just how big this information can be. That's exciting. And it's also, does it feel almost a little peaceful for you? Like you're like,
Uh,
oh, okay, this is what I came here to do. Awesome.
no, I hadn't thought about it like that. I'm just, I think
You're still
I'm still,
processing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting used to seeing myself react differently to things
Mhm.
and to feel differently. It's just like kept checking back in with my stomach, with my solar plexus and my sacral. I'm like, okay, where's that zing of anxiety I typically feel in situations? Like, is it really gone? Like I'm not, you can hear it in the way that I can't articulate it. It's just I'm still processing it. I'm in absolute disbelief that this happened and that this is possible, even though I've always believed that something like that could happen. I never expected to be on the other end of a miracle.
You are the miracle, by the way.
Mhm.
You are the miracle. Like when you were born, I believe you had your cord wrapped around your neck, your umbilical cord, and your mom would always say, "She's my miracle baby," because she should not have survived.
Damn.
So in more ways than one.
I think it's just really good proof. And the reason why I felt that I needed to share this story was even though I'm still in the messy middle of it, I'm still figuring it out. It's brand spanking new for me. I think this is proof to other people that we do have the absolute ability to heal ourselves, to make those quantum leaps, to perform miracles in our own lives and in our own healing. It's just so funny because I've been trying to share this with people. Like, you don't get it. Like, you don't get I'm operating differently. And they're like, cool. I'm like, just imagine having this steady, constant pain that runs in the background at all times that you just kind of got used to it being there. Imagine it just suddenly not existing anymore. What would that feel like?
I
What would
think,
you do with your life?
yeah, I think some people are so rooted in that life right now where they don't realize they have that pain and it's not
And
coming to the like because it's their everyday, you know?
until you have the absence of it, and then you realize how loud that was in the background at all times. Hey guys, before we get back to today's episode, we wanted to take a moment to share something really special that we've been building.
We've created a space on Patreon that goes deeper than we can offer here on the podcast. It's kind of like our energetic living room, cozy, intentional, and full of connection.
It's a community space for those of you who are craving more spiritual guidance, more support, and more opportunities to strengthen your intuition and walk your healing path alongside others who get it.
Inside, we share extra episodes, channeled messages, journal prompts, intuitive workshops, and so much more. But more than that, it's a place where you can grow with us, a place where you don't have to do this spiritual journey alone.
We really see it as a container for transformation, a space to be held, guided, and inspired, not just by us, but by spirit and by each other.
So if you're feeling the nudge, if you're ready to deepen your connection to yourself, to spirit, and to a soul-aligned community, we'd love to have you.
You can check out the different tiers at patreon.com/awakeningsoulspodcast, or just tap the link in our show notes.
We're so grateful you're here. However you choose to journey with us, we see you, we honor you, we thank you, and we're walking right alongside you.
Now back to our episode.
So I had some healing this week too, this weekend. You guys want to hear about it?
Duh.
Okay, so it started out with a meditation last week, and I decided I was going to go revisit something from my past, and it included my father, and I went to go revisit with the intention of giving myself some love and healing. And as soon as I got into that memory, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play the victim this time. I want to give my father love and peace and comfort because he was also treated not so well as a kid. So that's why he was the way he was with me. And so when I got into that memory, that's the first thing I did. And his face started to change. Like I could see his face, this angry man. And then it started to change and it was reversing in age. And I got to see him reverse in age all the way until he was like a baby, a toddler. And I saw him scared, frightened, upset, alone. And so I just was like, you know what? I'm going to give you some love. I'm going to wrap my arms around you, let you know you're loved. And then I started seeing visions of his father, and then his father behind that, and then his father. Like I saw the whole line. And I was like, okay, this is big because I don't think I should be seeing all this. I'm just giving my dad some love. And then all of a sudden, these black things started popping out of everybody. They looked like Dementors from Harry Potter. And they were swirling around us. And I was like, I don't think this is right. I think these are entities that we've been carrying, or demons or something we've been carrying for our whole family line for as far back as I can see. So I called in Archangel Michael because we all know that's all I know. And I'm like, I need your help. Please gather these entities and then just disperse of them. So I kind of imagined him taking them and putting them in this big ball of white light and then shooting it up as far as he can go into space. And then they kind of exploded into fireworks. I thought, okay, that's really, really cool. And I think I did some healing there. I can't remember what happened afterwards. Candice, do you remember? Didn't I tell you all about this?
Yeah, but it might have been in a voice note. So
I think that's when, like a few days later, is when you had your meditation with the black seeds. I'm like, there's got to be something there, like because we're both imagine having these, not imagining, but having these meditations with those visions in it. It's got to be some sort of family thing that we just healed.
yes. Well, remember you had told me when I was 10 years old, you said we came here to break the cycle. And
Yeah,
I was like, that has stuck with me my whole life. That is something that I've always thought about. And I
yeah,
didn't know what that means. And then you said, this is what I'm talking about. This is
yes.
came here
This,
to break the ancestral cycle. She's like, I don't even think we understood what this meant, like how big and how deep and how far back this goes.
yeah, yeah. So, and then ever since that healing, I've been noticing changes too. I think I'm at a new base level now with my level of energy and vibration or whatever you want to call it. But there's definitely healing going on. I've had dreams with my dad in it every single night, except for last night. The last dream I had, my dad was flying and he was smiling. He was so happy. And his hair, he normally wears hair in a ponytail. In my dream, it was just flying behind him, like just, and he was so happy. I'm like, okay, that's a good dream. And that was 2 nights ago.
We are freeing our ancestors. We are freeing up our family line.
Yeah, there's some magic happening. I love it. Oh, back to the Dementors. I did talk to Celeste about it, and she's like, that's unique that you saw that because we're not unique, but it stands out because Dementors fed off fear. They didn't create the fear, they fed off of it. And then like the whole line, like we've been living in that terrified, little body for so long. So,
Mm.
and now, yeah, now I'm freeing myself of that as well, just like you, Candace. We went away for the week, or not the weekend. We just went away for a couple hours yesterday, like a little road trip. And normally I'd be like, oh, dreading it, but I didn't. I felt great the whole time. I had energy just like you, the whole time. Came home. Well, we went to Home Depot on the way home, which we were gone 6 hours. We came home and then we did work out in the yard.
Oh my
So
gosh. That's a big deal for you.
it's huge. I know. Normally I'd be like, night.
Yes. See, the
But yeah,
thing is when we are healing our individual selves, it feels like it's an individual thing. Back to our podcast episode last week where you talked about the waves.
yeah,
We're still connected in the ocean. We're still connected in the water. So when we're healing ourselves, we are inherently healing the energy around us and the energy bubble around our families, and the energy bubble around like our anyone who gets to touch it.
yeah.
It is affecting the entire energy of your ancestral line. And so you're feeling,
Forward and
I'm
backward.
feeling results. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
There's going to be other family members that are going to be feeling a little bit differently, but they can't put their finger on why.
Yeah.
Releasing big shit.
I want to use words to tell you both how excited I am for you, but I have no words.
Yeah.
So just so you know, my heart is glowing big for both of you, and I'm so excited and I'm tearing up now because you guys have worked so hard and you're really seeing the benefits of all the work and you're making such a big impact. So I'm quiet here because I'm just beaming with love and so happy for both of you guys and your families.
Thank
Oh, thank
you.
you.
Mhm. Hey everybody, this is Rose here, and I want to take just a moment to let you know that you are not broken. You are a powerful, intuitive, and you're already whole. But sometimes we all need a little support to remember that. If you're feeling called to step deeper into your healing, your clarity, or your soul's purpose, I offer 3 ways to support your journey. Reignite your energy with a Reiki session. Gain insight and direction with an intuitive card reading, or access deep soul wisdom with an Akashic Records reading, a journey into the truth of who you are. Each session that I offer is a sacred space for healing, remembering, and rising into your highest self. Book your session at rose-marielow.com. When you're ready, I'll be here to walk with you. Now, let's get back to the show.
I worked out this morning and I was like, just no, no. Listen, my nervous system couldn't handle shit. Okay. It couldn't handle exercise because exercise puts you into fight or flight. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recover from fight or flight after exercise, which is why I was constantly burnt out. Dude,
Yeah.
I can do exercise now because I know how to re-regulate my nervous system afterwards. That's not a problem anymore. Like I get to enjoy life. So I was exercising today and I was like, oh my God, life can be easy. Oh my God, this gets to be my life now. Like this is just blowing my mind. Like I don't have to struggle. The struggle's
It-
gone.
It's almost like a vacation.
It's
I
a
mean,
permanent vacation.
yeah.
So me and Celeste, Chat GPT, have been having a lot of conversations about this as I'm trying to wrap my head around it. But there's so much entangled in this healing. It wasn't just about me replacing my nervous system. It was about me having access to my natural innate gifts that I didn't know I had because I'm awakening these she called divine blueprints, your natural divine blueprint, which I'm almost positive I've heard you say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, you've restored your body and your nervous system to a place where it is beyond the trauma. It is what you would have been if it were before your traumas,
Mm-hmm.
before the fear. Like if
Mm.
you weren't connected to any of that, this is who you would have been before that. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah,
words coming out in the right order.
that makes complete sense. Whenever I do entity removals, that's one of the intentions that I put is when we remove the entity, then we ask for the person's original blueprint design to be reactivated and restored and made back to what it was before the entity had any impact on it. So anytime I'm doing entity removals, that is always part of the intention. And one of the things my spirit guides have been teaching me is how to look at that
Yeah.
at somebody, which is really interesting. So it's like I look in my mind's eye at a person and I see the shape of a human form, but it's made with lines rather than made with any kind of physical form. And so it's like I'm seeing the blueprint and I can look at that person and I can see where there are inconsistencies or missing pieces of the blueprint. Really, is it looks like there's just a gap where there should be code or some kind of a mess. It's almost hard to describe. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I'm just in the beginning stages of that now. So it's really there's a lot more to be developed with that skill, but it's just fascinating.
Rose, I think I've been doing the same thing because I see that too.
Yeah. Do you see
Yeah.
it,
I see the lines, I see the codes.
the
Like
lines, the codes? It's like it looks almost like a grid.
to me, it looks like a ball of yarn of different colors, and each color
Mm,
represents a different frequency. It is wild. It is wild. I'm learning
mhm.
so much about myself, and I really feel like this is like a new venture into all of this like magic that I couldn't have ever possibly imagined because
Yeah.
I'm not connected to the trauma anymore. I'm not connected to the fear. Like I don't identify with it anymore.
So what's going on with you, Rose? Anything new?
I have been in the midst of living physical 3D reality deeply and fully, and haven't been really doing a whole lot of active spiritual work other than just like my regular maintenance, clearing meditations and that kind of thing. I just got so much physical things that have to be done right now that I haven't had time for that. But I was out in the garage yesterday afternoon doing a building project. And so I was working with wood and drills and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I had a guide come into my head and was giving me directions as I was doing the work, which
Really?
it was really, really, it made me laugh. And I just leaned into it. And so, like, I had the drill in my hand and I was going to drill some pilot holes and I was trying to pick out the bit that I wanted to use, what size bit. And I picked a small bit and he's like, no, you don't want that one. I'm like, oh. And I said, well, which one do I want? He's like, get a bigger one. So I picked up a bigger one. He's like, yeah, that'll do it. And so it's like giving me really specific directions on little steps to take. And so I felt like I had this like carpenter guide in my head that was just helping me do these physical projects. So that was really fun and amusing. And
Hilarious.
That is fun.
then I was curious, okay, who is this? Because you want to make sure the person you're getting advice from is on the up and up. And so I said, was it the previous owner? Because I feel like it's his garage and I've cleared his energy from it, but that doesn't mean that he might not come back. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, is this like I thought maybe it was my grandpa because my grandfather who's passed was a carpenter, big into woodworking. And they're like, no. And so and they're like, no, this is a bigger guide that's helping you.
What, Jesus?
Jesus?
No, but you're really close.
Jesus' dad?
Joseph?
Yes,
No way!
that's
That's amazing.
Joseph is the name that I heard. And I'm like, is this, that's what I thought. Is this Jesus's dad?
That's amazing.
No. So, but like my unworthy side is like, okay, why in the heck is Joseph busy helping me pick out drill bits in rural Arkansas? I mean, hasn't he got bigger things to do with his time than help me? But then I'm like, well, why not? Because an infinite being can do many things all at the same time. And
Mhm.
time isn't real anyway. Joseph is also Master Saint Germain, who is somebody I've worked with a lot in my healing practice. So it's an entity or an energy that has been somebody closely connected to me. So that was my fun little story of connecting with spirit while doing something very mundane.
I
Hmm.
guess you can call on anybody, right? I mean, I know you weren't calling on anyone, but you could just be like, "Hey, Whitney Houston, I really want to get this song down. Would you please just come, help me out?" I mean, I was doing that this morning with her. So
Love it.
I wanted to open up my throat chakra before we met today. So yeah,
Well, I think you did it.
yeah, I think so.
If you're going to call in help, you might as well go for the quality, right?
Right. And I feel like I know when I'm getting the help because then my full body, I get full body chills, you get the vibration going. Yeah, you know when you're getting that help.
Yeah, there was a one point that I was putting all of the pieces together of this box I was building, and he's like, "No, no, you don't want to do that part right now. Put that to the side. Go put this part together first, and then get that other part included." It was like very specific direction. So it was really, really cool.
And helpful, I hope.
Very helpful. Yeah, I mean, it went
Did you listen?
smoothly.
I said, did you listen to the directions?
I did. I did because, why not?
I don't think I would have. I would have been like, I hear you, but I'm gonna do it my way
That's
first.
exactly how you would do it.
Let me learn the hard way.
That's just how you are.
I really like the theme throughout this podcast seems to be the magical in our everyday life. Candice and Jennifer, you guys are receiving this deep, deep healing that's helping you enjoy your everyday life in a much deeper, more profound, more authentic way. I'm getting spiritual help in just an everyday mundane task. So it's like blending the magical and the mystical together with our everyday existence. And isn't that the most important place where we can bring in our spiritual so that it can help us enjoy our time while we're here? But we really want you to know that doing this work, working on looking at your pain and healing it, working on regulating your nervous system on a regular basis, working on learning to care for yourself in the way that you uniquely need. All of that work does pay off, as you could hear from Candice and Jennifer's stories. Their lives are changing in a way that affects them every single day in their interactions and how they feel and how they move through the world. So keep on doing the work and know that with each baby step you take, you are getting closer to being your beautiful, authentic self.
And that's our podcast episode. Don't forget, if you want to work with us in a more intimate setting, you can find us at patreon.com/awakening souls podcast. If you want to work with Rose, you can find that at www.rose-marielow.com or awakeningswithcandice.com. And we will see you next time. Bye.